How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast. This is episode number 134. Today is March the 3rd, and this is going to be an episode full of one of my favorite things, speculation, because lots of rumors hit today, some fun things. Nothing like, I would say nothing too huge, but there's some cool stuff here for us to speculate about and see what we think, if there's any truth to some of these rumors or not. There's some of these talks going on. But yeah, I look forward to that, and I hope everyone is having an awesome day today. It's a Monday, so that means the start to the week. It's also the first week of March, and that means the end of the winter season. We're starting to get into springtime a little bit. Spring's later this month and starting to warm up here a good amount. So looking forward to that. It's been too damn cold in Texas this year
Yeah, for some people.
for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to have possible blizzard conditions tonight,
Oh,
but
nice. That sounds fun. Well, that's what you get for
yeah,
working where you work there, Jasper.
yeah.
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 But yeah, shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate everybody also who tuned into the stream yesterday. Ended up going actually even longer than I thought. I think started at 7 and ended around like midnight. But I was just rolling through some different games and having some fun with that. Yeah, we're joined by the awesome fun speculation crew and family here. A shout out to 3-Bit. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well.
Doing pretty good. I've been playing lots of Balatro. That's been on the agenda. I really didn't expect to like that game to that extent. I was like, oh, this is a card game. Like, and I'm playing it and I'm losing in the first few matches, but then all of a sudden, just for some reason, like maybe the fifth time, because like you lose and then you could start another round, whatever. Like I would say like the fifth round, it just clicked for me of like what
Yeah.
the heck I was supposed to be doing, and what the jokers actually can contribute to like the game, and like you trying to get really good jokers each time kind of contributes to like how long your run can actually go. I don't know. Something just randomly clicked with me the fifth time I did it, and so I've been really enjoying that. I've been working quite a bit and playing Avowed as well. I did binge White Lotus as well for the first time.
Nice. What, the new season?
From season 1 all the way to 3.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, we haven't
Yeah, I haven't
seen.
watched season 3.
We've only seen season 1. We liked season 1, but for some reason we never picked back up on it. It's funny you say that because we were talking about it last night a little bit. Like, we actually liked that show. Why haven't we watched more of it? But yeah, now
Yeah.
that there's 2 more seasons.
Yeah, we watched that show at work. It was a interesting show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like it's an interesting show, like, because for most of it they're just chilling, right? They're just on vacation, they're just drinking
And then
having
fucking.
sex, all the thing, yeah, all the things. But like it always leads up to something, so it's kind of like they show something in the very beginning of the season, usually like someone dies, you're like, ah, and then most of
They
the
show
show
like
is
a foot, and you're like, who's died? And then you like go
Yeah.
through the whole show trying to figure it out. It's a
Yeah.
murder mystery like thing.
So it definitely is a murder mystery type show. But most of the show they're just relaxing. So it's just like it is slower, but it's interesting to see how some terrible people can be, how just different people's personalities and stuff. So I've been watching that, but mostly just working. I've been doing a lot of different projects, different commercials I've been working on. Yeah, it's been pretty fun. Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. Right on, man. Thanks for being here as always. And we have the one and only Fuzzy Belvedere. How's it going, Fuzz?
Oh, it's going great. Loving the pre-order. I guess you could say the large amount of pre-orders on Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation. It goes to show they have good taste over there. So, but no, in all seriousness, just having fun playing a bit of Forza Horizon. Still playing a good bit of Avowed. Enjoyed your stream yesterday. Those mushroom people or things or whatever can be a trip, but yeah, just playing a lot of games and staying off social media for the most part.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, I was on my stream yesterday. I started with Mark of the Deep, which is a game that I'd seen. I remember. I think it was on tidbits or something. I can't remember when I saw it for the first time. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and I was lucky enough to get a code for it. So, and I've been meaning to get to finally stream it, but I wasn't like anticipating that. Okay, it's a smaller indie game. Is going to kind of like start with that one, and then kind of then roll into Avowed, you know. But it got it hooks in me when I was playing it. It was actually really, really fun. It's a roguelite game. It's on Steam right now. I think it was supposed to be on Xbox too, so I don't know what happened with that. I figured that out in the stream yesterday, like searched the storefront for it, and it says like release date January 25th, but it says like not available. But it also says it's like Xbox Anywhere. So I was kind of confused by that. Like, I don't know if there was a delay on the console release or not, or what's going on with that. But yeah, I was really digging that game yesterday. It got its hooks into me more than I thought it would. Then rolled into some Avowed, and still addicted to Avowed. It's absolutely amazing. And then Monster Hunter Wilds, which is just awesome. I got to play a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds on Saturday night with Pong, so I got to try out the multiplayer. And we had a blast with that too, man. It was a little confusing trying to figure it out at first because had to like figure out, okay, when can we play together and all that kind of stuff, but we ended up figuring it out, and I had some fun with it. Then my daughter tried Monster Hunter for the first time last night too, because she likes character creators, right?
Yeah.
And I had to fix her laptop to like update the drivers and everything because she was struggling like with it crashing before I did that. So I updated her drivers and stuff. And then when she saw the character creator for the first time, her like jaw dropped. She's like, I'm gonna spend forever on this, you know. She made her character, and then she was loving how the characters in the cutscenes and stuff with the voice, you know, which most games don't do. If you have a character creator, it's usually like they're there, and sometimes they maybe say some things here and there, but like they're not like fully integrated into the story with the cutscenes and and everything. So she was loving seeing that. It was awesome to see how excited she was. So yeah, it's kind of was my day yesterday, and then finished it off a little bit with Balatro, which is like a daily thing for us. And at 3-bit, like I gotta tell you, you're like it starts to click at first when you understand how the jokers work. Then you understand more, and you understand more, and you understand more, and you understand because the game doesn't teach you anything, right? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't teach you a damn
there was
thing.
there was a quick tutorial, but yeah, not really.
Yeah, so like you're still on the cusp of like understanding this game, this gem that is Balatro, and it's just gonna over time you're just gonna understand more and more. It's just gonna it gets so good. Like your skill level improves the more you understand it, right? And it's like poker where there's still luck involved, you know. And then you once you get past all the decks, then you start focusing on the difficulty level for each deck. And that's when things get even more
You
challenging.
can't keep your cards, right? Like you die, that's it. You just start over.
Yeah, you start a new run. Yeah,
Okay.
each time.
Yeah.
But you can unlock things based on what you do in the run to make it to where like you unlock new jokers, you unlock new vouchers and tags and tarot cards and all those things too. So yeah, the more you play, the more you are able to get, which adds to everything. But yeah, we absolutely love Balatro.
Thank you.
And then we got the one and only Jasper here hanging out, who's about to be affected by blizzards there in Colorado. How's it going, bro?
I got work tonight, so here in a couple hours I'll be going in. But other than that, I've been playing Monster Hunter. That's been fun.
Yeah, you said
I do have the PC.
You liked it more than you thought you would.
Yeah, because I wasn't like the biggest fan of World. Like I kind of just played it solo, but like this one, like I'm just like constantly like wanting to play it and jump back into it, even with the PC issues that I do have. The stuttering shit is absolutely insane. So like I've loaded it to 1080p and put everything on low, like just to fix the fucking stuttering.
Really, you're having stuttering?
Yeah.
That's
Like the
Nvidia
slightest
card
turn of the
or-
camera like drops it to like 20 or 30 FPS, and it's just annoying. So I've lowered everything so it doesn't do that.
Nvidia card on your laptop or no?
Yeah, I got a 4090. So
and it's stuttering on a 4090.
yeah,
It's crazy, bro. I haven't had like hardly any stuttering or anything on mine, and I didn't. Now I wasn't watching too much of my daughter playing, but I know like in the early thing she wasn't having anything. She's got like I think a 4070 or something. It's a laptop card, I guess, so I can't remember
yeah.
exactly what it is. But anyway, yeah, she didn't have any of that either. So it's crazy they having that many skips on a fucking 4090 laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So I've just been playing on low, so I'm fine with it
do,
right now.
do you
Hopefully,
have
when it's patched, I can.
do you have frame gen on, or did you turn it off, or
Uh, I've capped it at 60 FPS, so my GPU has some headroom.
Yeah.
And then I just left frame gen off because there's no point if you're going to cap it at 60.
right? Interesting, and you have it at 1080. That's crazy because I have mine at
Yeah.
like 34, 40, 14, 1440 with ultra wide.
Like when I had it like on like high and everything, like uncapped, like I was getting like probably like 80, 90 FPS, but it would constantly dip into like 30s and 40s. So I was just like,
Right.
this is fucking annoying. So I just lowered it all to low and capped it at 60.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I guess they got to work on getting optimized for all the different cards or something out there. Like, you have the best card, so you would think that you wouldn't have that. Even if I have ray tracing turned all the way up, it doesn't do that for me. Like, even on the high.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
that's PC for you.
yeah, it's just weird, man. Like, you would think, like, I know it's a laptop, but still, like,
Yeah.
I guess like some people were saying like there's like VRAM, it's VRAM heavy or something. Like
Yeah, I got 16 gigs of VRAM, 32 gigs of normal RAM. So
you should be good
Yeah.
to go there too. Yeah, hopefully it smooths out for you. And I guess that's where a lot of people are having trouble with the like Steam reviews and stuff like that. Even though it's
Yeah.
like a million people playing all the time, that seems like a predominant problem where people are getting mixed results on the performance of it. So it is a very gorgeous game though, too. Like graphics are absolutely insane on that game. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of
Did you guys try and create yourselves, or do you usually in these type of games like create someone?
I just
completely-
always create a female.
I'm a very tan woman.
Okay. That's it.
So,
When I played
no.
World, very panel. When I played World, yeah, I made a girl. I just was curious. I eventually want to play this, I think.
Yeah,
The
you
phone was
were
get-
watching last night on
Everything.
the stream. You're a little bit, oh wow, you're like, wow, that actually looks really good.
Yeah. You've actually convinced me to buy multiple games just from watching you, and FOMO gets to me hard sometimes, but whew, I'll
Oh,
hope
what weapon are you using?
in World.
No, I was talking Mav and Wilds.
Yeah, I'm using the dual daggers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm using dual blades as well.
Yeah, I like it. It's fast, but like
Yeah.
it takes a little getting used to, so you don't like start just going off track, like going the other direction. You got to keep
Yeah.
refocusing and stuff. But once you get the hang of it, you can get some pretty like intense, just like damage done. I love calling in the SOS thing too. Just have some random people just show up to help me beat the monsters and stuff.
Yeah, most of the time it's just the AI bots. Every now and then, like it'll random, like
Yeah.
actual player would jump in.
I think what ruined my first experience with World is I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make like a bow elfie type girl character," and I didn't realize that the bow was supposed to be pretty weak because it's like a side weapon or something. But I just like I was like I don't want to equip anything else, so I just took the bow, and it took me forever to beat enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did in Worlds. I used a
yeah.
bow, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
And then I like never played it again.
On Worlds, I use the like insect thing that's like kind of like makes you like vault into the air and stuff a lot, which I actually like that. That one was pretty fun, but it's kind of
Like, so
different to use, like because there's some different mechanics with it and stuff. Did FOMO get you on this one, Fuzzy? Yet? You were
Not
battling it the other day.
no, it hasn't gotten me just yet, but that's why I keep on playing like a lot of different games to kind of keep my mind off of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I know it's going to be one of those games I sink like 30 or 40 hours into it for like the next month and then I not touch it again because something else will be out at that point. So I'm trying to hold out, but tomorrow is going to be another tough day.
Yeah.
CD Keys keeps
Probably
popping
smart.
up on my visited pages and it's like I
Yeah.
just want to get the standard edition in and just move on, or I get the deluxe
Yeah.
edition with all the other, content and, I guess whatever stuff they got for the roadmap coming
I think
up.
most of like the medium edition, I think just gives you some skins or some shit. I think
Mhm.
like the most expensive you get like the future DLC maybe or something. I don't remember what it is, but
Yeah.
I just got the regular one.
Yeah, same.
I need to beat Avowed first before I buy any other game.
Yeah, Avowed,
That's what I keep
man.
saying to myself as well.
Like the more the further you get into it, the combat and stuff just keeps getting better and better. Like as the enemies have become more difficult, and I'm into the different biomes, have some different enemy types and stuff, and I keep getting different weapons now, and it's like it just keeps getting more fun. Um, I love like there's so many damn good games to play right now, man. I love this year already. Like with Monster Hunter and Avowed, like we had Ninja Gaiden 2 Black hit, and I've spent a little time with it, but barely any. But then I know that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is still sitting out there that I want to play, and I every time I see anybody post about it, I'm like, shut up. I don't want to hear anything about it because I want to play it too, but I can't add that on top of Monster Hunter and Avowed. And I don't want to like rush through Avowed just to finish it, right? Like I'm just trying to take my time with it because that's like what's most enjoyable. Then I think about what's to come this year still. Like Outer Worlds 2 is gonna be another Obsidian RPG to hit this year. I mean, Fable was pushed back to 2026, so I can push that off my list. But now we have more rumors of other games dropping this year and other stuff. Like it's just gonna be absolutely insane. We got, I mean, Atom Falls later this month.
Yep.
Next month we got Clair Obscure Expedition 33 and South of Midnight. Then in May we got Doom: The Dark Ages. Then there's multiple rumors for games potentially in June, not just one. So GTA 6 later this year, like just
Was there a
absolutely
demo
monster year
for
so far.
Expedition 33 today or something that came out?
Saw people talking about an early section preview or
Oh,
something
okay.
that they got to play. I need to check and see what that is that people were talking about. 'Cause I saw a couple previews or something where people were talking about it a little bit. So yeah, and that
There's
game
a,
looks
a game
amazing.
this week for tidbits that will probably grab our attention as well. At least one of them.
A new one or that we haven't really talked about too much?
Yeah. From a game developer that we've kind of enjoyed a lot of his games as of recent. So
Oh, okay. You talking about Joseph Fares?
mhm.
Yeah, Split Fiction. Yeah. That one I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
gonna probably be a
Oh,
pretty popular game also
when is that coming out?
this week.
This week,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting that immediately. That's a day one. Shoot. There's too many
um,
dang games, man. I need to.
Yeah.
This is not fair.
no,
I,
100%.
I do like what they did with they did it with It Takes Two, and also I believe they did it with this one as well. Where it's like the friend copy thing.
Yeah.
Essentially like one person buys it, then another person has a free copy. That's pretty cool. More games should do that for sure.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, there was multiple rumors and speculation that hit today, and I'll start with this one. It's not really actually this one doesn't really either of those categories, but this is a game that keeps getting brought back up from the creator himself of the original, which is infamous in Xbox land. If you followed Xbox a lot last gen, then there was a game that we saw multiple times at shows. We're waiting for. It was highly anticipated. This was at a time when there wasn't a whole lot of studios, so any big Xbox exclusive game that was being made was a big deal. And we had just gotten a new look at it again at an E3 show. Then about a month later or so, it got canceled, and we're just like, "What the hell?" It was a dark day in Xbox land when that happened. A lot of blame went around originally at Xbox, and it came out later that you know what, maybe this wasn't actually Xbox's fault. As turned out, there was maybe a little bit of misuse of funds and time spent at the studio that was making this game. But yet the creator, who has since left that studio and has formed another one, still has the dream to be able to create. Of course, the game I'm talking about is Scalebound, and the creator I am speaking of is Hideki Kamiya, um, who is at his new studio making Okami. And there was a video that went around of him showing and reminiscing with other people at the studio. Oh, this was my dream game, Scalebound. Look at all these YouTube videos. God, it looks so good. Then he has the audacity again to go and say, "Let's do it, Phil," because in order to create his dream game, he's got to go to the owner of the IP and the publisher of this game, which would be Microsoft and Xbox. And I'm just curious if you guys think, will Xbox ever cave to Kamiya's dreams again and revisit this, because he won't let it die? This is not the first time he's made this like kind of public statement or sentiment or public outcry to say, "Hey, let's do it, Phil." He wants to make it. I've seen mixed feelings in the Xbox community, because there's those that were excited for this game and just want to see what it could have been, right? And then there's others that are like, "Fuck them. They fucked over the Xbox community and the Xbox fan base." And one of the created helped add to some of the dark times in the Xbox universe, and now they're asking, now he's asking to revisit his project. So just curious, like, do you think there's a chance in hell we will see Scalebound again pop up with Hideki Kamiya? I'll start with 3-bit.
Um, it's just so crazy. It's the game that it's like it never dies.
Yeah.
I think it it's interesting because you guys were mentioning behind the scenes like Ninja Gaiden and their relationship with like just some different publishing houses right now. Um, that could be a good sign, but just what happened with that game was just so like business damaging. In terms of like it's like, yeah, we're working on the game. Meanwhile, they're using the money on the
The money
side
to
to like,
make Bayonetta 3.
yeah, like seriously, like to me that was just so messed up. Um, I'm just thinking like business wise, like if Microsoft makes some deal there, like, hey, you can make it, but we're not going to give you either as much funds, or some sort of caveat would need to be there in order for them to revisit that game, just because of how it ended. Was it ended for a very good reason. With they weren't doing their job. They were essentially taking the money, using it for other projects instead of what it was for. It was to build up the Xbox brand in a time where Xbox didn't have a lot of first party hitting projects. So it was like it was kind of a time period where Xbox really needed that. Where people's like, all they have is, Halo, Gears, Forza, and now they have, a ton. But that was like a pivotal moment, I think, in Xbox's history. And they chose to like take advantage of Microsoft's money at that time, which I don't completely disagree with. Like, big guy, but it's. I feel like they did damage or some sort of relationship there. So If it was me, I'm always like the petty person. That's why like don't put me in charge of these companies because I would be like I'm not working with you. You did that, you know.
Yeah.
But there's also the business sense where they look less at emotion and look more at like a business sort of relationship. I could possibly see that happen. It seems like they are working with Platinum with Ninja Gaiden. So if that team is still there and if that's something they internally really want to develop maybe themselves with the backing of Microsoft, you get kind of the benefit now that a lot of Xbox games want to go multi-plat anyways. So Scalebound would now theoretically go on other platforms and stuff like that. If it was me, I wouldn't do it, but I feel like if he's so passionate about this game and he keeps bringing it up, maybe they could have a conversation and maybe have a caveat of some kind to bring forth. Like, we're going to bring it back. However, and whatever those caveats are, that's something they need to work with. But the way it ended wasn't very good. Um, it ended for a very good reason. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Definitely didn't end very well. What about you, Jasper? Would you throw Kamiya a bone and say, Xbox,
No,
there's no desire to bring this back?
I would say fuck him. Also, one because like I'm not the biggest like fan of Japanese games or whatever, but also like the fact that he just kind of robbed Xbox's pocketbook to make his own other shit. Um, Now, do I think that Scalebound could also happen again? Like, there's part of me that thinks Phil and Microsoft they're still on that push for the East, and like maybe this is like they've already kind of have that door open because he's been asking for it. So like, there's part of me that sees that Phil would greenlight the project again, which I don't know why you would. Like I said, because you got fucking robbed before, but Xbox likes to do shit that's not really smart all the time. So yeah, I don't know. It's not my kind of game, and I always thought that he was kind of overrated because Bayonetta was shit too. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
That Bayonetta was shit.
Yeah.
That's a hot take for sure. Right on, man. What about you, Fuzz? Would you say, Kamiya, okay, here's some money, go finish Scalebound with your new studio?
No. And I don't think Phil is even, picking up the phone or anything. Like, I'll just put it this way. Phil already had the opportunity when he was crying about, or when Kamiya was crying about it before. Oh, I'd like to work with you again. Sorry I screwed up, blah, blah, blah. He had the opportunity. And we see Phil's working with Platinum, the team that guy left, on something else. Now, that could have already been in the works when the guy was crying. I think it may have been, and it may have been part of the reason why he was out the door kind of deal. Because they didn't want anything to do with him. They were probably like, yeah, we'll be okay with you working with Platinum as long as he's out, or something to that effect. So I don't think that as long as Phil is at the head of Microsoft Gaming or whatever, I don't think that guy stands a chance ever working with Microsoft again. Phil leaves at some point, some knucklehead will probably pick up the phone and let him pitch that game. But I put a couple of pictures in the DMs. Forget about Scalebound. Like, that's scorched earth already. Forget about it. Dead and buried. It's so funny to me that all of these people love talking about or bringing up Scalebound as far as like, the ponies out there, or some of the gaming media, or even Kamiya himself. But like 8 games get canceled. Games as a service from PlayStation. Nobody wants to, say anything about it. They it's as if it never happened kind of thing. But a little, dev that, has also burned some bridges at Microsoft as well, came up with an idea called Dragonflies by the name of Cliffy B. I would say that's a better investment or better venture for them to make than to ever deal with Kamiya again. That's just my take on it.
Oh, another overrated dev. Got it.
I mean, in all honesty, you would probably see more success with Dragonflies than you would with Scalebound because it's going to get the Xbox tax out the gate, and unless it's day and date on PlayStation, it's going to get crapped on, or at least if it doesn't get an announcement date that it's coming to PlayStation like 6 months later at the worst. Yeah, it's just going to get crapped on. They're going to be like, yeah, this game should have been Left 4 Dead or something. It's like, don't bother with it. I would say Dragonflies. If you're about dragons and combat, Dragonflies is a better concept, I think. But that's just me.
Yeah, right on, man. I'll be the odd man out here, just for the simple fact that it's not my fucking money. like I mean, yeah, I get what they did. I get all that. I get everything everybody said. You know what I mean? And there's like this level of like respect and pride and everything, right, and stuff. But like, if I'm just looking at Microsoft and say, hey, I just want them to fund as many damn games as possible because I get them in Game Pass. And I was one that thought the concept of Scalebound looked pretty cool. I always liked fantasy games, and I liked kind of the twist on like this modern characters within it. And I was just curious, like, what could this team create? And this, like, it was really original. You know what I mean? So when they canceled, I was like, fuck, that kind of sucks. Now, not that we had seen enough of it to get overly disappointed because we never actually saw like pure gameplay and stuff of it yet. But you know, you talk about dragons and stuff like that. It was like, okay, it was interesting enough for me to say like, what could it have been? So if they ended up ever doing it, I would be like, cool. I don't know if they would necessarily need Kamiya. Like, it would be a slap in his face if they went somewhere else, right? I mean, they went back to platinum for Ninja Gaiden. You know what I mean? And like, Ninja Gaiden was part of this whole situation to begin with, and yeah, Kamiya's not involved with that, but it's like I didn't see a lot of people complaining that they went to platinum when Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced, right? Because hey, at the end of the day, we get another game and it's in Game Pass, and you know, we all get to play it and it looks awesome because we got to see, you know, this trailer. So if I think the right way to do it, if they ever did it, is like do it behind the scenes, right? Just go ahead, do it, whatever, and wait till it's like the year of release to reveal it again and show like gameplay and all this other kind of stuff. And then it's like, oh, okay, I have reason to be excited about, because if that game ever does get announced again, it'll be a shit show of craziness for years until it actually releases. So I would just like wait, announce it, show it off right away, and say it's coming soon, and see what happens, right? But I don't know. You know, it's like I'm not like personally burned, you know, from them. I think that what they did sucks ass and stuff, but you know, Microsoft can afford the loss. So, like, if they do it again, I'm sure there's like, and this was a very public thing because it was like a big game that was announced, right? But then I look at other side of things. Well, you know, Microsoft fucked over a lot of studios too. You know what I mean? Like, they fucked over Lionhead in some big ways, and I was like pissed off about that more so than I was like Scalebound getting canceled and in Kamiya, like, and everything that went on with that situation. Like, I was more like, oh fuck, Microsoft, like, they forced Lionhead to make Kinect shit, then they forced them to make this multiplayer thing, lost pretty much the identity of the studio, then they closed the studio down, and now we've been out without Fable for a long ass time. Now I'm super happy Fable's coming back, but you know what I mean? It's like, you see that, you see other things that happen with Microsoft and some other studios in the past, and other publishers do all this kind of stuff too. So when sometimes a studio may fuck over a publisher, like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm not gonna be like, fuck them, fuck developers, fuck all these people. Like, it's that's the business side that I don't really know all the inner workings in and out of. You know, like, if Lionhead rose from the ashes, or like Peter Molyneux's like, hey, I'm getting all the old team back together, we're gonna be Lionhead 2.0, I would be like, hey, Lionhead, you can't work with Microsoft. You know what I mean? Lionhead 2, you can't work with Microsoft. I'd be like, hey, Microsoft, sign a deal with them because I want their games. You know what I mean? So I think there's like two sides to it. At the end of the day, um, I just want to see more games. So it would be cool. It'd be interesting. I think it would be a circus and it'd be just fun to cover just for that alone. I'm curious what the budget would
Yeah.
be. I think they would be like a little careful with it. You know what I mean? And it necessarily wouldn't be the budget that Kamiya would want, right? If they said, "All right, Kamiya, can you make this on $5 million?" He's like, "No, what? 5? No, I need 500." No, you remember last time, buddy? You know, we'll give you another check after we see some progress. You know what I mean? I think they'd be very careful how they did it. You know, but
They luckily have. I mean, if they ever, let's just pretend like it's coming back, right? For let's be in the world where it actually is coming back.
yeah,
They do have a pretty decent base to start from. Like the gameplay was getting there. I know they were going for more of a multiplayer type of thing where other people can like jump in the world and stuff, and maybe that was what's kind of holding them back because Xbox was always pushing for multiplayer. I remember this being in one of the reports. I can't remember which one it was, but um, Xbox was pushing for multiplayer in his games, and then they're like, "Oh, we're not really known for that," and they added that to all the other crap they were doing and using the funds for other stuff. Um, so they have somewhat of a basis to start from. There was some frame rate issues, but some of the effects and some of the gameplay looked like pretty cool,
I
decent.
mean, I think you got to start over at this point. It started like
oh yeah.
you talking about your stuff that it's like 15 years old at this point. Like
Well,
the
and
stuff
that
they were
stuff would have
like,
been at Platinum
True.
also
Yeah.
probably. I don't know if maybe they had to turn things over to Microsoft. I'm not sure, but like, how do you
You don't
like?
think they would still have any of the code or anything?
I don't. I mean, it's got to be a tricky situation, right?
even
Like,
if you did, you would probably
Yeah.
be on a newer engine at this point too. So
Well, what engine were they using at that point? I thought they were just using like their. Do they have their own source engine?
they were
well, no
using
sources
They
though.
were
But-
using Unreal. That was part of the problem.
Oh,
Yeah, they had never
oh,
they had never used Unreal before, and they were trying to learn how to use Unreal and stuff because like that supposedly it was kind of like one of the requirements for that game, and they were struggling with that in development because they had always used their own stuff before that.
gotcha. Okay,
That was part of the
I
development
assumed-
issues. But yeah, any
Yeah.
assets would be Unreal. So, but it would be
Well-
at Platinum. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, well, Platinum was a developer, but like, I don't know when it's canceled. What do they do? Like, hey, I'm sure Microsoft gets copies of all the assets too because it was Xbox Game Studio. Like, I don't know like how that would work.
I don't think they erase like if they're making
They probably
game,
keep the assets for portfolio purposes, but
Yeah,
but it sucks because like I can't show half the stuff I work on,
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm
like-
kind of getting it. But
do you have to credit
I-
Platinum
I-
if you use any of their work? You know what I mean? So
you
I
have to credit.
because if it's Clover, which is his new studio now, I think they just
Mhm.
start from scratch. But that means you kind of in a way have to take things in a different direction a little bit. I would, unless you want to credit Platinum.
I mean, while we were talking, I went back and watched the trailer. That game looks very dated now. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while, so it's like
I
my
remember when it
brain-
first came out, it was like that looks really good, and now it's like, oh, we're talking like it's pretty dated.
well, dang. I was thinking like maybe they could just take some of the base, update some of the assets, whatever. I don't know how far they were in development because it's hard to tell because they weren't really developing the
Supposedly
that
not
game.
very far. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly not very far, but I mean, if that team is starting to use Unreal Engine for other stuff, then maybe they're a little bit more experienced now. I know that was a weird transition point for them,
Different team though.
but
Like,
it's a whole different team.
yeah,
like what happened?
this
to that
is
team?
so the Platinum Kamiya is the creator of Scalebound. It was like his dream game, right?
Mhm.
So that was funded by Microsoft and Xbox when Kamiya was at Platinum. Kamiya ended up supposedly, allegedly, or whatever, using the money and at Platinum to fund other projects that were there, and they never made any good progress on Scalebound. They blamed a part of their issues with the Unreal Engine, right? And after the last time Microsoft saw it, which was right after E3 showing, they canceled it. And it was a big thing. A lot of uh, the hate originally went to Microsoft and Xbox because nobody said anything or the reason why, right? Then it came out later about those other issues after it seemed like they were able to talk about it, right? And I remember Kamiya and like Platinum had like issued apologies and stuff like that about the whole situation and stuff. Well, since Kamiya left Platinum, as of like a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that, and he started Clover Studios. Clover Studios is the developer that is now making Okami 2, or the new Okami sequel that was revealed at the Game Awards. And Kamiya at Clover is the one that says, "Hey, I would like to make this again," And he was like, "Hey, let's do it, Phil." So him and his new team would be in charge of development if there was a new Scalebound. Microsoft owns Scalebound, right? So
Gotcha. Yeah.
but
So
yeah,
they
they
don't
would
have
go.
any of the assets then.
Yeah, so it would be all at Platinum and Xbox Game Studios, I guess.
Yeah, Platinum would have some of the assets, like and definitely Xbox. Okay. Well, definitely Platinum because Xbox was like, um, there's been a couple of times where Xbox has been surprised by their games, which leads me to believe, like, especially like Redfall, for example, like they're like, what?
Yeah.
This is Redfall, So like some of these teams definitely have the games, and it's like probably in Platinum servers somewhere. Yeah, I guess just restart the game. And also Clover, he brought most of the team members. I'm guessing that probably worked with him on
I'm
Scalebound.
sure. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that other people went along with him. I don't know 100%, but yeah, he left there, and he's doing cool stuff now. I mean, the Okami announcement was a big announcement for a lot of people, right? I mean, it brought Keeley to tears.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was think he really pumped that situation
It's
up.
like
I was like,
he's like,
again, like
this is a moment I never thought would be possible, and I just can't wait till I can share this with the world. And he was like, Kamiya is teaming up with this team. They're bringing back, and I was like, oh, what is this gonna be? Like, holy shit! It's like Okami. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
oh yeah, like, the way he was pumping it up, I was expecting like a Half-Life 3 or like what's that game from
Half-Life
UB?
3
Like,
made by Kamiya. Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be fucking crazy.
or
But yeah, I mean,
like
that's a special game for a lot of people, so I get it,
Mhm.
but like you can tell it's like a special game for Keeley for sure.
It's
Right?
weird. Like as a kid, like I thought it was a cool game, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, okay, cool. What's that Ubisoft game with the pig and the girl Beyond?
Beyond
It's
Good
like
and Evil.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
I was
that's been in
expecting
the works
that.
for like 15 years, right?
Yeah, Okami's now working
Yeah.
with Ubisoft to finish Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Wasn't that shown off like the year
That would make
before
me go
the
crazy.
Xbox One consoles? Like the
Yeah,
Beyond Good and Evil or
And
some shit?
yeah.
And they said they supposedly
They
still in
haven't
development.
officially canceled it.
I think like the first trailer for that was around like the first Watch Dogs trailer.
Yeah.
That was so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Kamiya is now teaming up with Ubisoft to bring back Splinter Cell.
That would be
Like,
interesting.
No, it would be interesting to see. I would be here just for the pure entertainment of it and to see what the hell it ends up getting shipped, right? No, I mean they already did swallow a pill, like I said, working with Platinum for Ninja Gaiden, the Kamiya-less Platinum, right? So
Yeah.
but I didn't see anybody like, oh, Platinum, fuck them. They took your money, right? Like it was just like, hey, fuck yeah, we're getting a Ninja Gaiden game, sweet. Game Pass day and date. Maybe it's because Kamiya's not involved, but still, there's other people
Yeah.
there as well. So, at the end of the day, we'll we'll see what ends up happening. And my guess would be absolutely nothing will end up happening from this, except Kamiya making another random post in a couple years saying, "Let's do it, Phil." Or maybe if Sarah's in charge, "Let's do it, Sarah." You know, he'll keep trying anytime the new executive's in charge.
Yeah. See, it does definitely. Someone mentioned earlier, like, Amit Kumar says Xbox has moved beyond Kamiya. They've already working on Ninja Gaiden 4. They're fixing their relationship with Square Enix. They're good with Sega and Capcom. Then he ends it with F Kamiya. I'm not that far to like F Kamiya. Like what he did, I thought was pretty messed up. But like, you know, I I'm almost on that train, but it's basically the way I see it is it's just not worth it unless he can kind of prove maybe his team a little bit. Like he's no longer at Platinum, so the Clover team, if they can like get back on a decent relationship with Xbox, maybe do some cool things with Akami, maybe that can go to Game Pass or something. Like start repairing it in other places, then maybe they can talk about Scalebound. But the fact that they fully like was investing in them for Scalebound, and they kind of just backstab him. I
He
would
needs to
repair it.
have proof, or at least put out Okami 2 or whatever before he
Mhm.
starts Scalebound. That way that Microsoft knows that he's not just taking the money for Scalebound and putting it
Exactly.
towards Okami 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like they
Yeah.
need to kind of prove themselves as a new studio, unless I'm not aware of did they develop anything else. Like they're brand new, right? Like they haven't
Yeah,
developed
because he
anything.
just left in like what 21 or 2 or something like that.
Okay, so with this new studio, they need to do pretty good job with like Okami. Maybe do some cool thing with Xbox marketing or something, and start making sure you repair them as a legit studio, and then maybe Scalebound, maybe. But
I say sell them the IP. Make them pay for it.
Ah, there you go. The Clover.
I mean, they gave the IP back to what do you call them? The
oh yeah,
Insomniac.
Sunset Overdrive,
Yeah.
to Insomniac. So just either sell it to them or give it to them. I say sell it to them so you make him
Yeah,
pay some money, or give it to him
sell
and
it to
then
him for
let
the
him make it
price
on
of
his
the
own.
initial development of the game.
yeah, true. Actually, that's a yeah, that's true. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I guess before, since they were helping like partner with the game, they were giving them money and stuff. To just like be like, okay, screw you, take it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, true.
We'll see. Like, maybe, who knows, craziness. I've seen crazier things, but my guess would be like nothing is gonna come from this. It'll just be another random conversation we have in a couple years on a podcast saying like, Kamiya said it
Yeah.
again, its desperation comes through. I mean, there's been a couple
He is
different
on his
Japanese,
deathbed. Yeah.
yeah, there's been a couple different Japanese developers that were pretty prominent back in the day, like being like Outcry, that you had some association with Xbox about like working with Xbox again. Tomonobu Itagaki, who used to be with Team Ninja, it was like it been in multiple interviews saying it would be cool to work with Xbox again, but like I think he hasn't really produced a good team of a development team since he left Team Ninja. I think he was in charge of a great team at Team Ninja when he was there, but the project that they put out after that, I forget, it was like Team Vikings or something, like flopped. It was known to be horrible, and in a sense, he's been doing some other stuff now, but we haven't really gotten any kind of news or interesting information about any of that other than some of his comments, right? But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. But this wasn't the only thing that happened today, guys. It was today was just full of random stuff, and I want to get to the super chat because this is going to be a good segue into this conversation. Brandon Martin earlier in the show, shout out to Brandon, and I'm just glad football season's over, so I don't have to read his Fly Eagles Fly shit no more.
You just said it, so
I know,
it's fine.
I did. Can't believe I did that. Oh, God. All right, Brandon Martin, shout out to you thanks for the $2 super chat. And he said, and now this is just FYI, a little info on our good friend Brandon. He was a dev that has worked on Call of Duty before. So I'm just assuming he might know people there based on the fact that he actually worked with them. Now this is just speculation from my part, just saying, I don't know. But anyway, he said in his $2 super chat, it says, COD rumors today are true. Bright future for COD. Now, the rumors Brandon is speaking of that I wanted to get into came from somebody who also kind of started instigating these rumors is later last year, early this year, can't remember exactly when. Ghost of Hope, who is a somebody that's kind of in the Call of Duty community, is known to be kind of a leaker with the Call of Duty community before. The last thing that I remember him talking about was, remember with this Xbox Next Gen for 2026, Xbox Prime word was being thrown around about maybe it's the name of the dev kits or the name or the project name or whatever for potential next gen Xbox, and that Call of Duty was being developed for that. And now we have more rumors today that came out from Ghost of Hope again and was subsequently covered by Charlie Intel as well as Insider Gaming and more. But I'll read Charlie Intel's because they just broke it down in a kind of a good synopsis there on Twitter. Rumors from Ghost of Hope is the details on Call of Duty 2026, aka Modern Warfare 4, not releasing on old gen, so not releasing on PS4 or Xbox One. This would be the first current gen, not only current gen, but the first current gen cutting off old gen title, but also in development on next gen Xbox dev kits, which is to me the first I've heard of this from any game out there. And UI may be more traditional like older games. Engine updates to fix visual clutter issues, and Warzone may not be supported if Verdansk does not do well. Now I'm going to roll into the Insider Gaming articles. Call of Duty is being developed for next generation Xbox. It's claimed. It's been claimed that Call of Duty 2026, which is assumed to be another Modern Warfare title, is in development for the next generation Xbox. That's according to reputable Call of Duty leaker, the Ghost of Hope, who took to X to break the news after it was announced that Season 3 of Black Ops 6 would be delayed until April. And then, according to Hope, the 2026 title is not being developed for past generation consoles and is being developed for the next generation of Xbox. If true, this could be our first real hint that the next gen Xbox could release around fall 2026. Also pointed out by Hope is that apparently if Verdansk does not bring players back to Call of Duty Warzone, a third game in the free-to-play Battle Royale will not release. Officially, Activision nor Microsoft have released any information on Call of Duty 2026 or even Call of Duty 2025 at this moment in time. But according to our sources, the next game in the Call of Duty franchise is a Black Ops 2 sequel, headed once again by Treyarch Games, following rough internal discussions that saw Sledgehammer Games wanting to develop their own fully fledged Call of Duty title for 2027. God, I hope it's better than Vanguard. As always, take such rumors with a grain of salt, but Call of Duty 2026 being in development for the next generation Xbox consoles and an interesting tidbit of information if true. So, now the reason that this is interesting is, well, Call of Duty releases every fall, right? Every fall leading up to holiday season, like clockwork. It's been that way since their 360 early 360 days, if I can remember, or maybe even end of original Xbox. I don't remember. It was Call of Duty 2 was a launch title for the 360. I don't remember when the first Call of Duty came out, right? So you have Call of Duty just clockwork every single year. Now, if it's being developed on Xbox next gen dev kits, does that mean that the rumors and speculation about possibility the next gen Xbox actually hitting fall of 2026 is true? Because some out there are still saying 2027, right? Some are saying it's 2027. Some are saying it's 2026. Some of the 2026 rumors comes from this, right? But also has been rumored for quite a while. that next gen Xbox is going to be early, and 2026 would be the targeted release. That came from multiple different people out there in industry, insiders, and all these other kind of things. But then also several people that seem like they're in the know are saying, no, 2027 seems like it's the date. But now both could be true. I would say, like, if you are already have the dev kits out there, and the dev kits obviously would support current gen as well, right? Because they're not moving away from Series X and S development, as it would say. But to get ready for a release on next gen, it would make sense to do that sooner than later. If you were planning, even if it launched in 2027 at some point, you would need to still roll over the game with updates and stuff for the new console when that dropped, right? So, but do we think this is more evidence that there is 2026 release of the new Xbox hardware? Let's start with Fuzz.
Mhm. Like I said about a recent delay, it's about timing. Um, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think hardware is definitely on the horizon for 2026. So yeah, I think they're already stacking up what their launch lineup will be. Sure, there'll be cross gen titles, but it's a bold move, and I think the right move to finally cut off the Xbox One and PS4 with Call of Duty. In all honesty, I think this last Call of Duty, they probably gotten away with it, but I think they were too afraid to, losing probably half the amount of sales that they would normally get, somewhere between 8 to 15 million sold, probably still on last gen or something. But yeah, I think we get the new Xbox. Now I don't know if that's the handheld. Handheld might be 27. I wish it was before the main box, but it doesn't look like we're getting it this year. Nor does it look like, or at least from what I'm hearing right now, it doesn't look like we get the handheld this year. But the set-top box one, or the traditional console, yeah, I think they're targeting holiday of 26, and some of these changes are in preparation for that. Like, yeah, I realize a lot of times when next gen hardware is coming out, especially from first party developers, they usually have it a couple of years, like even before the whole things were listed as greenlit or approved or whatever. They probably had what they were working towards as far as like a rough build for them to kind of be able to spec it out, because if they're building stuff on PC, they can kind of scale based on what they have readily available, plus what they're working with their partners, like chipsets that AMD may already have out them for their teams to test and stuff like that. So yeah, no surprise, new hardware in 26.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, like, if that's true, Fuzz. I wonder if, like, normally you wouldn't want to announce necessarily a new console like too early, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to like sabotage your sales currently. But like Xbox is maybe not even necessarily worried about that too much. So, and they could try and get ahead of the game and try and build up hype for next year if that's the case. If they have something ready to go late next year, and I would think we could possibly even see more teases around that. And I can't remember you. I mean, I think was at the Game Awards, and when they showed off the Series X for the first time, right?
Yep.
Now that console didn't release till the following year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
You
wonder.
could see something that's
Yeah, if there's a
We
2026
could
release, it means we could have a fucking actual console reveal this year for
Yeah.
Xbox, which would be fucking crazy.
Now I'm pretty sure there will be some people at GDC that get to see some closed door stuff that they probably won't be able to talk about until later. But I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if hardware is like for behind the scenes for some of the devs or some of the partners that are there at GDC. So we'll see, because they're making a big to do about AI, and they're going to have some stuff there to demo it. So
Yeah, it's like, I'm starting to think about all these little things, right? Like, okay, so there was reports like, oh, there's no more Xbox this available in these countries and all these other kind of things and stuff like that, right? Or like, like, hey, there is low stock or all these other kind of rumors that have been kind of out there with some things, and it's like that would be a sign. I see some people talking in the chat as well, like that could be a sign of like where they're at with starting to transition over to possibly getting ready for manufacturing of something else, right? And as I think it was Miser Tech in the chat had said that I remember this, that Jez confirmed that they have the system hardware and architecture design approved. That was a report I remember seeing not too long ago about that. Hey, the next bit gen Xbox has been greenlit and funding approved and all this stuff, right? So, I mean, that I don't know how long it takes to go from that point to actual manufacturing and release, right? But it wouldn't be unfeasible to think about it possibly being into next year, right? And shout out to Brandon Martin with the $5 super chat again. Says they are going back to traditional campaign mode for Modern Warfare 4, like back in the 360 days. They are getting rid of the open world style. Right on, man.
That's
And
good.
part of this stuff too with the UI, so they're going more streamlined and stuff there too. It seems like they want to try and like get rid of some of these other things and go more like traditional game. Like I don't know what that necessarily that means. I don't know if that means like getting rid of the hubs and all that stuff and like
Well, that's
Call of Duty
also because
Hub.
like everyone's bitched about the UI for the last few years because they fucking had Hulu designers make the UI for it. So it's like,
Right. Yeah. Like it'd be interesting to like I like a lot of the stuff that Xbox is doing. The other thing was interesting about the Warzone stuff. Like it would seem crazy to me that they would say, "Hey, Warzone's not big enough anymore to keep supporting it." But
yeah, that's what I find weird because like over the past few years, except this Call of Duty, like the past few, like they've kind of actually ditched multiplayer content in more of favor of Warzone. Except Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 has seemed to do more multiplayer content
so I'm wondering if they're going to
instead
get
of
back to like, "Hey, we're going to make each Call of Duty a big deal again." You know what I mean? And like, well, I mean, not that it hasn't been. It's usually the top selling game every single fucking year still. But they have it more focused on the actual games and less on and some of this other stuff that they've been doing. Like, if Warzone has been struggling to maintain the audience with all these other games out there now, like maybe it could be kind of like a black hole thing they see that could prevent people from even buying the other Call of Duties and playing them. I don't know, right? So
Yeah. Well, Warzone, I mean, I feel like with Warzone, they're headed in this approach where they are kind of making it more Fortnite-y with the skins and stuff that you can do, and it is interesting, like the hub that they're trying to do there. But Black Ops 6, you guys are right, where it was more of an exception where it's not tied to Warzone. So I do wonder in the future if they're gonna just make a like an updated Warzone for like a big title to kind of promote the new game and Warzone at the same time, or just make it like a singular experience. I guess they could kind of do both in a way. Like hey, we're doing a huge update to Warzone in tandem with this new Call of Duty. So they could do it that way if they, because there's still a lot of players on Warzone. I could see that happening. Um, I believe they kind of did that with the sliding mechanics, right? From Black Ops 6. They added what was happening with the sliding mechanics from Black Ops 6 to Warzone. So I could see that maybe happening on a bigger scale if they find like a new feature for the next
well, I mean, that's kind
Modern
of how they handled between Modern Warfare to Vanguard. Like it was Modern Warfare came out and then Vanguard they like re overhauled Warzone for like Vanguard mechanics and then it
yeah,
kind of shit the bed.
yeah. So I could see that happening for sure. If I mean, and with the new console and what's happening there and with I mean, some people was kind of mentioning in chat of like where they're possibly going with it, and with Jez's comments, basically saying that he confirmed that the system's hardware and architecture design being approved, and what Fuzzy said, which was essentially that like yeah, they they definitely get the design or specs beforehand, like a target to kind of work for.
Yeah, that's
Now,
what I pulled up the old FTC leaks of like
Mhm.
their roadmap for the next gen consoles. Like their first party dev or their first dev kits weren't scheduled to launch till the end of 26.
Hmm.
So they're like a year ahead, pretty much, like a year and a half
Now
ahead.
I remember though that was at a time when they still were planning the mid-gen refresh, right? And
Well,
those were
this is
part of the leaks. And Phil had made a statement like that that's old. You'll find out more
yeah,
about our other plans because it had like the cylinder Xbox on it, and it had like the other Series S, and they all had USB-C, and they had the other controller with the pants and stuff and shit like that. And I'm wondering if they like were like, but because of the way direction at some point that this console generation started to go after 2022, they were like, and after knowing that they're going to get ABK, at some point they're like, okay, let's shift focus in directions, and maybe that kind of accelerated the hardware side too a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah. Um.
Never know. But yeah, it would be. I mean, if there's dev kits out there now for next gen, that's very interesting. If these devs are
Yeah.
actually working, and like Brandon said, like the rumors are true. Yeah, as a former developer that's worked on Call of Duty, like I can't speak for him. Obviously, that's just what he's saying. But like I don't know where. I'm guessing he knows something or may have that information there, right? So like if that's true, that means like next gen Xbox dev kits are being worked on, and that also means that it wouldn't just be Activision probably getting these, if at least soon. Like other studios and other developers would potentially be having these dev kits, maybe first party first, right? Activision, Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda. I wonder if they're
Bear.
using them on Elder Scrolls 6 over there at Bethesda right now. You know what I mean? And it leads to
Yeah. There.
exciting
There.
things, man. Like I'm just curious, like what things could end up being announced. Like, and the even more intriguing is like, what does that mean for like showcase season this year? If they start to announce games that are like for late 2026 or into 2027, it's like, hmm, what are we going to potentially see? Are we going to start to see stuff that's like beyond what we're used to? You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Yeah. They're in a very interesting spot because like they now own Call of Duty, obviously. So the marketing, like kind of tying the marketing with Xbox. They basically they started that with Black Ops 6, which no one thought they would do for they're like they don't have the marketing rights or whatever. I think that was proven with Black Ops 6. Like yeah, they do. um, so in terms of like the marketing is going to be really interesting if they tie it in with their console. That's immediately gonna. There's only a few games that can really sell consoles to that degree, and Call of Duty is one of them,
yeah.
and then Grand Theft Auto is the other. If they manage to get both for marketing, that's gonna be insane for them. Um,
It,
so that's
yeah. I mean, now I'm expecting a high cost for like a powerful next gen Xbox, right? But it's a high cost right now for PS5 Pro. But PS5
yeah,
Pro is such a slight step up, right? And that's like
yeah,
next year built. Let's say that next year into next year 2026, they actually do have a high end new Xbox, next a new generation built on all this AI shit and all these other acronyms that they keep coming up with, right? And it's like, what? How could that change things as far as hardware goes? Especially if the other rumors about like open-ended ecosystem and all this other kind of stuff go as well, and you release this and you have a Call of Duty around launch time. That's gonna be a big one, right? You're talking about the next Modern Warfare game, right? So a big Call of Duty, you have potentially Fable, potentially a Forza Horizon, a Gears, who in a 1 in a million chance Elder Scrolls 6. You know, I mean, there.
I mean, also Halo's. There's rumors of Halo next year too. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a million
Yeah.
rumors for a bunch of stuff for next year, like right
Yeah.
now. So like, but like if any of this actually ends up happening, I mean, Perfect Dark maybe next year too. I mean, you're talking about potential of not just one of the craziest release years ever for Xbox with titles, but also to pair that up with actual hardware. Now, other people, well, it's
also
available anywhere. It
GTA
doesn't
next
matter.
year.
People say, well, it doesn't matter. You just get it anywhere. Get it on PC. Get it on blah blah blah. We get on blah blah blah. But fuck, and me as somebody who also likes to play on consoles, you know, like that would be super intriguing. That I would feel like I need to have day and date, especially knowing that all the existing titles will be upgraded and move forward with me and all that kind of stuff as well, right? So, and I'm just curious how much better it would be than a PS5 Pro. I'd imagine there would be a much bigger gap between a PS5 Pro and that than there is with PS5 Pro and a regular PS5. Right? Like,
Yep.
I'm talking about an
Yes.
actual generation
I
leap,
would say
depending
yes
on what
and
generations mean
no.
anyway. Well, you're talking about a new CPU,
Like,
right?
yeah,
That's
but like at the same time, like I feel like consoles are getting so close now to where like there's not. It's just gonna be like optimization on the game itself, not the actual console, like doing the
It
heavy
kind of
lifting.
sucks because again, you're gonna run into the problem that you give developers more specs to work with, and then they're like, "Oh, look at all the room we have. Let's not
yeah.
optimize our game." So I that's unfortunately probably gonna happen. Um, but something Nerds and Other Legends says, he says, but something tells me Microsoft lacks the cojones to actually market COD with Xbox logos. I mean, they did it with Black Ops 6, and I think
Oh yeah,
with
a lot. Game
them
Pass
doing
too.
it with the Game Pass and stuff, and I also think the fact that Switch 2 is coming out, that Call of Duty, and I'm sure they're going to market it on the Switch as well. They have two consoles that are coming out around the similar time, the Xbox and the Switch 2, if I'm not mistaken,
Well,
with
Switch is coming out this
PS6
year.
being later. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So they can at least start with that, I guess. I forgot that was happening this year. But then you have Switch coming out first, and you have Xbox, and then most likely Sony being at the later half of that. That's our speculation. That could flip, but
And Sony's always been afraid to fucking put down a date. They've always waited for Microsoft to announce the console first. They're like, they'll wait till the last fucking minute. They're like, Microsoft's like, yeah, we're coming out November 20th, and PlayStation's like, yes, they finally announced a date. Let's put it 2 weeks early.
Yeah, I think we'll get the PS6 probably like 2028.
Mm.
I think it
They're pretty
depends on how
fine.
well the next gen hardware does. Like they're already working on a PS6. I think they want to avoid anything less than a 2 year span from the Pro, but they'll sacrifice it all just to not be left that far behind, but still have maybe an advantage over like if everything lines up for the next Xbox to release, fall of 26, they're going to want to be before fall of 27. Even if it's just they have a faster chipset or maybe 2 teraflops more or 2 gigabytes more memory or something. They'll do something to not be.
Yeah, what they'll
you
do
know,
is they'll cut the initial design for the PS6 and put it out early with some parts that they can get now, and then whatever the initial design with the PS6 was, that'll be the PS6 Pro.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
More
too,
likely.
like with Xbox's vision and direction of like Xbox Anywhere, Xbox Everywhere, all this stuff that they're doing. Because it's gotta, if it is unifying PC and console in some kind of way, and it's gonna be open ended for the other storefronts. All these rumors that have been out there, right? If all that stuff is true, we still don't know 100%. But that would require some interesting things on a hardware and UI level, right? To make happen. And they've been already marketing Xbox everywhere and that whole thing. And I'm just wondering in the back of my mind if like they may have jump started and accelerated next generation because it might require other dev kits out there and other things out there for all these developers to have in order to actually make this vision work. Right? So like maybe it's a possibility
I,
that like these games have to be, developed in a way or, that will make them
yeah,
work across all these different devices.
I would say the main reason that they would have accelerated next gen, if anything, is just due to AI. Like they see the future for that, and they know that
Marketing wise too,
they can
right?
get they can get a shit ton of money off other companies and stuff with like AI research and all this. So they're like, we know this is the future. This is where games are going. Everyone's going to be using AI. We're gonna have to put in these AI chips in this shit. So I think that's more reason why they would have accelerated the next gen is just because they see the profit in all the AI research bullshit that's going into it.
Yeah.
That, but also like I think their store, like I know they really want to start like their sort of mobile presence a little bit, and they've been waiting and fighting Google and whatever for that. So, but if so far Xbox has luckily been making it so like what you said, Matt, with Xbox Play Anywhere, they've been making it sort of a seamless experience, not fully yet for every single game, but you play a game on console, you can play it on PC and then mobile as well, with like cloud. I think they'll want to further that as well with the next console for sure. The AI stuff, because the Microsoft, when they have a vision, they're like, yes, they go for it, and then sometimes it falls flat, whatever. AI is like the big thing for them right now, so I agree with Jasper, but I could also see like they definitely want to update um their their play anywhere sort of thing, because they're already going multi-plat, so they're definitely making that experience as seamless as they can with their different features and stuff. So I'm just imagining on the stage when they're announcing the Xbox, like what is the thing, like every Xbox sort of have the thing to kind of um to make it sort of different from the last console.
It's going to
um
be the MPU chip. That's going to be the marketing thing.
mm,
Just like how ray
yeah,
tracing was this gen, it's going to be
yeah.
now the first Xbox with an all exclusive AI chip made in house by Microsoft. It's like, okay, we get it.
So so
You
three
know they're
bit.
gonna have that thing.
Do
Yeah.
you in 2026? Do you think that it? First off, do you think that Call of Duty right now they have at Activision they have next gen Xbox dev kits?
Yeah.
And do you think that if they do you think that leads credence to where a 2026 release
Like a 2026 release
for
for the
hardware?
Console.
For
console.
hardware, yeah.
Like the console releases the end of 2026.
Yes, with Call of Duty potentially.
Man, that would be crazy. Because that's really soon.
I mean,
Um,
imagine you see the stores flooded with next generation Xboxes with Call of Duty branding on them
yeah.
launch day.
So that would mean like when do you start the marketing, like this year? Or would you start it the year? Do they usually start the marketing the year of the
Well,
I've
release
seen
in the
date?
it both,
past,
A
but
year before.
last
Other
time it
Oh,
than
was the
they
year
the
before.
One X was 2 years because
yeah,
they showed it, and then the series, the One S was released, and then the following year the One X was released. So that was the first time it was like 2 years. But I could totally see them showing something at the TGAs this year or
Mhm.
holiday next year. I think that would be spot on. Now, I was hoping for the handheld this holiday, but
Mm.
unless we get a real pleasant surprise or a leak from some of the stuff at GDC on that Xbox OS. If the Xbox OS looks like it's prime and ready for prime time to put on your ROG Ally today or your Legion Go today, if that's the case, then maybe we do see a handheld. But if it looks like it's still in like beta testing, then the handheld will probably be a year later or something like that. So
Honestly,
we'll see.
you trigger some of my brain fuzzy. So like if your game was supposed to release this year, like towards the end of this year, like a Fable or maybe Gears, then I would push it to next year, knowing that like you finally got the specs for the new hardware. I don't know when they supposedly got this thing. I don't know when this guy reported it or when they supposedly got this new Call of Duty hardware. But if they now have it, that means Call of Duty isn't the only team to have this hardware. That means other teams have the new dev kit, right?
Mhm.
So that means maybe that's why Fable was delayed. I don't know. I'm not working there anymore, right? But like it starts to make sense of like if games were kind of peaking towards the end of the year, like let's just delay it and start gearing up for the next console maybe. So I could see that possibly happening for and you start looking at where this console is launching. I could see it in 2026. To answer your question, man. I could definitely see it happening in 2026. And I could see games that were supposed to be releasing this year being delayed because of that
The
as
problem
well.
with like the 2026 date though is like if they do a hybrid handheld type thing, it's not going to be much more powerful than the Series X.
But that doesn't have to be the same
Yeah.
launch, right? Like you don't have to launch the handheld at the same time as like the next gen console, right? Yeah, like you could
That's
do.
also why I would do the handheld because it almost works like a Series S. Like you have your different version and like you have your big console that's worth like $800 and then you have the handheld so it's a little bit more accessible for people. So I mean that's what I would do, but
Yeah, we
I
know
don't know.
there's multiple prototypes of the handhelds. I'm not sure which if one of them's been greenlit yet, but I would anticipate that they would probably have the console first, and then maybe the following year, like do a handheld or something like that. Just based on
Yeah.
like speculation of where the rumblings about where they were with different things, right? If they already have the specifics of the console approved, and then just like what was it 2 months ago, Phil said we have multiple prototypes for the handheld. That would make me think that the handheld is not 100% go on which direction they're going with yet, right? So I would think, and also cost, things get cheaper or should, right? For handhelds later as more powerful stuff keeps coming out. So I would think maybe console first and then a year or two later do the handheld. Um and then that way you kind of have like this proof of concept kind of thing about the anywhere store and all that kind of stuff out there, and but there will be third
Mhm.
party handhelds that will be Xboxes anyway, already existing.
Yeah.
So they don't.
Yeah.
I think there's also maybe less of a rush for that because they'll have their partners that are kind of be doing that work for them. That wouldn't surprise me to see actual boxes at some point next generation for TVs and displays that are actual Xboxes that are not
Yeah.
Xbox. Also,
And they need to like they do have some hardware that's really good that um basically adds in different graphical features taking advantage of the Series X, but if they are doing a handheld, I bet you with these kits, they're starting to kind of figure out
yeah.
um how how you can adapt your game to the Series X, the S now, the handheld, and the Prime. That's like stuff they probably should start to learn now. And maybe Microsoft internally is making that a very seamless experience. Where it's a click of a button, or maybe it's attaching something to the Unreal Engine. Like maybe Unreal Engine, you can attach different like it's like different plugins essentially. Maybe they start to make that for different engines. I don't really know. But that could be a thing. Make that a seamless experience for them. But you basically start that now. So um, I do wonder. Just all of this is speculation, by the way. I know I
Yeah.
worked for Microsoft so in the past. This is all
This is
speculation. I have
it's
no
kind
idea.
of an interesting like time frame for consoles because it kind of reminds me of like when smartphones was first coming out and all the companies were trying to figure out how to get all their shit to an app level size like screen and phone. So it's like we're kind of at that point with like consoles now where everyone's trying to figure out how to get their shit on handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the opposite. Like they have the
Yeah.
game now fitted on this thing, and they also need to make it. And we talked about this before, but if they're doing a handheld game, you or a handheld system, you need to make it feel good, not just where it's kind of like the thing where it's like a mouse for when you have that like a
The
mouse
cursor
icon, like
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
the cursor thing. Like no, like make it feel like a good handheld experience, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's important. I think Steam has done a good job, but still not every game is great on Steam Deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you try and play RTS on there, it's a little interesting, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, but like there's obviously games are gonna be better for it and not. I mean, traditional console type games are gonna be what's best on something like a Steam Deck, you know. And I think that's gonna be kind of the case going forward. It's gonna be interesting to see how um that evolves too with the all the different games being made. So yeah, Jasper, yes or no?
To the 2026.
Yeah,
I'm I'm still on the no train. I just feel like
okay,
it's still too early. Uh, I don't know
fair enough.
because like everything that was said before, like I know like plans can change or whatever, but everything that's just been said before, like of the tech that they're waiting on, it's just going to be coming out on PC in 2026. Like if that. So
Will it be
I
coming
don't
out
know.
early 2026? Because we just had
Probably
like
not.
Nvidia and AMD all just recently dropped new stuff, so maybe around next year, around the same time, they'll drop new stuff as well, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think I'll roll with the camp that says yes, just to be on the wishful thinking, hopeful side, just to be interesting. I mean, regardless if it happens in 2026, 2027, I'll be happy. I will say for more than like, I've noticed something with some of these newer games that have been dropping recently. Starting kind of like late last year, going into this year. With there, I mean, there's definitely some exceptions. But more so than earlier in the generation, I'm noticing a bigger gap on the PC versus console releases, right? Like if I play Avowed right now on my PC versus the console version, it's a fucking drastic ass difference. Like I'm just being honest. Like and that goes with some of the other games too. Now, last or earlier in the generation, we got a lot of kind of like Xbox One games that were more cross-gen or last-gen games that were finally being upgraded and all those other kind of things. And on consoles, like wow, holy shit, these fucking things run and play amazing, right? And now as these brand new games keep getting put out, it's like yeah, they're struggling to like even if they do have the performance mode, right? It's like you can tell more so what they sacrifice to get there, and even it's not going to necessarily always be the smoothest experience. In some ways, PlayStation has a little advantage there just because they have the PS5 Pro, but you're going to pay for it for a marginal upgrade, and it's like, what is that worth to you? So for me, it was like if you get a next gen Xbox sooner than later, right? We're gonna be at that level to where it's like kind of what I'm experiencing now on PC would be kind of the way the games I would imagine could be potentially playing on next gen console hardware, right? So at that level, it's like, man, I want that. I really do. I want that because there's I mean there it's gotten to that point where it's like I'm struggling more so now to like sacrifice my experience to play on the console more so. It's more for convenience. But when I
Mhm.
really want to experience the best of, there's such more of a drastic difference now on PC, right? And it's like certain trade-offs, obviously, and that's always the case when you talk PC gaming versus console
Yeah.
gaming, right? But like earlier in the generation, like the console versions of these older games, the cross-gen games, would be more less sacrifice on things, so it didn't necessarily wasn't as like, okay, it looks great anyway, it doesn't matter, fucking matter. Like, yeah, it looks better on PC, but it's like now it's like, okay, that's a pretty big trade-off. You know what I mean? It's a pretty big trade-off between those two versions now, and it's like, do I want to sacrifice that much? And yes, I will, because convenience wise, but man, I really wish I didn't have to. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
that's always gonna exist, sadly. Like,
yep.
just the way consoles are built for convenience.
But that's why I was
In the
always
market.
proponent for like faster generations, more, like if I go to the store and spend $600 or $500, or I want something that's not like 6-year-old tech.
Yeah,
You know what I
So,
mean?
I do feel like the
PS5 Pro got it.
they did something. I don't know what to call that, but they did something.
Right.
Well,
Well, there's you're spending $800 for, or $700 for old tech.
Yeah, yeah. I think the next console, it'll get closer, maybe. If they're definitely going for power, and then I feel like they'll take a similar approach to last gen. They had Series X be the power box, and then Series S be the convenience sort of box for.
But see,
people.
that's my fear with next gen is they've already found out that the power narrative doesn't matter. And if you can have these newer technologies, like NVIDIA's trying to get to a point where frame generation can interpolate, I think, 4 frames for every 1 frame it generates. So if you can get to these technologies, eventually the power doesn't matter as much. And they've already seen that with the Xbox Series X, where they had the power narrative and it didn't win them the gen. So with these newer technologies, I don't know if power is really the important factor for them anymore.
Yeah, because they had a couple things against them. Go ahead, Fuzz.
I was going to say, I think that's where the AI will be more utilized, is going to be for like upscale stuff.
Yeah.
Like, instead of having it where you have to push it at 4K natively, push it at 1080 or 1440, upscale it to 4K, use the tech that they know with the AI. Although we'll see how polished it is at launch. I think that's the route they go. But hypothetically, what would you guys be willing to pay on the base console with 1 terabyte, and a reasonable bump from like the Series X or even the PS5 Pro? Not a major jump, but something that will, I wouldn't say guarantee, but come much closer to guaranteeing 60 frames and some bells and whistles. Would you be willing to pay 600, 700, 800?
I would
900?
say 7 if it's enough of an upgrade, right?
Okay.
Like it
Yeah,
needs
I
it needs to have I need to be able to see like a tangible like difference between the versions and how they run. You know what I mean? Like if it's PS5 Pro to PS5 difference, no thanks. You know,
Mhm.
I need to see like, hey, this is new. This is a lot better. We're able to have higher fidelity and still maintain 60 frames like smooth on these games and stuff like that. Like I don't, and now that's going to come to developers as well, to this next generation get their fucking heads on straight and make the right decisions with the priorities, and stop saying like, hey, we're going to just worry about optimization last, and like, hey, we're focusing on 30 and then we'll see if we can get it to 60 by dropping a bunch of shit, like I think it's there's been great examples of games that have managed to be extremely well optimized and still look fantastic, right? And there's been examples of games that look like shit and are horribly optimized, right? So it's like I don't want there to be a trade-off. You know what I mean? I think fidelity wise, we've all reached a pretty damn good place, like with gaming. and it's going to
Yeah.
be a little bit better. Ray tracing maybe a little bit better. This is going to be a little bit better. This is going to be whatever. You're going to see slight increases with that, but I just want to see better overall optimization and performance on the games in general, and without having to sacrifice as much with the fidelity. Like, I don't want to look at a blurry image if I'm hitting 60.
So if you could take the games that are like in quality mode today, the way they look, with some of them having ray tracing, and pretty much guarantee like everything up to today. Now, some new generation ones from newer devs that push the envelope might be a different story, but everything we have up to this day, if in quality mode, what we look at in quality mode was running at 60, would that be worth the 600 or 700 for you
100%.
at that point?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be like, hey, fuck. I might as well I don't even need the PC at that point. You know what I mean? I don't need to necessarily have to everything be native 4K, right? But like, if I have good fidelity at 60 frames, I'm good. Like, when I'm playing PC games, I'll set my VSync on at 60, cap the frames at 60, and then I'll jack my fidelity as high as it can go without sacrificing, right? Because at 60, I'm good. Now, beyond 60 is great. It's a bonus for sure if you can maintain a solid frame rate up there. But I just prefer a smooth, solid experience. And 60 beyond, I don't notice as much of a difference. But there's a big difference between, like, let's say 4K and 1080 if you're playing on a big ass TV, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get the 4K at 60, or if you can get, even 1440 but with higher fidelity, and ray tracing and stuff, like, I would pay for that.
Yeah. To
My
me,
gut's telling me. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I'm thinking they're going to target 600 for the set-top box from Xbox. But if you want something a little bit more fancy, Asus or Lenovo might offer something at the $700 and $800 range that will be probably able to do like 120 or something ridiculous with fidelity mode. But
If it comes out next year, I think PS5 Pro set the price. It's going to be $700 at least.
We'll see. I don't know how well it's selling, but I guess we'll see. To me, it's always it reminds me of like a person running on a treadmill with like a string and like some cake, and they're running after it. Like, because whenever you get more specs, it's always the problem with
That's what I was
mostly
saying.
the
It's like the
developers.
developers.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like you get more space, you get all this room, and it's like, ooh, and you immediately you're just like, let me
Push
just
it as
fill
far
it
as
up
you can
with.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just let me push it immediately. And people, I think devs' mindset has to change a little bit, where it's like you optimize for this space. I remember when you had such limitations in game
Well, see,
development.
that was the 360 generation where like devs, they pushed it to its maximum, and then they stylized the game to where it worked on the console.
Exactly. But now it's like you have so much room, and you're like, well, shoot, I could do whatever. And then you're like, oh, I'll optimize it later. And I feel like that's such a modern day game development issue. So even if you are getting some of these new specs and stuff that should be capable of this stuff, we probably won't see it right away, is my worry. And I don't mean to down anyone's excitement or anything, but this is just has been the pattern for a lot of these studios, is just the way they've been handling these games. Like,
Yeah,
even if the box,
I feel like it's kind of like a lost like art, because like back, I remember, I think it was it Gears of War. There was like a story I remember hearing. It was like they only had like 256 megabytes of RAM. So what they would do is they would like micro restart the console like in between like missions or some shit to refresh
yeah.
the RAM. It's like you don't hear about this kind of like random tweaks and shit that they do with the hardware now to get the game to
Yeah,
run.
exactly. And it does help that Microsoft does have a lot of studios now, so maybe they can dedicate their studios to Xbox. What they've had in the past, and we talked about this on shows, like the Xbox tax and what that means for development and stuff like that. But a lot of developers, and I'll say here too, develop for the PlayStation first, and then they port their games to Xbox. That's just industry sort of thing, right? Which means they don't really take advantage of what is on the Xbox box in a lot of ways, and they just kind of like they're not like fully taking advantage of the tech. With first party studios, you get a little bit more with that. Like they focus more so on the tech that's inside the Xbox and stuff. Now Xbox is going third party. We'll see what that means in the future of like how much they're going to pay attention to their box in terms of optimization, all this stuff. We don't really know right now. But I would hope in the future that with all these AI tools, because AI will kind of um, it is another cheap optimization trick, to be honest. But I think maybe that will mitigate it further, and maybe some games that should be optimized, it'll help a little bit. Because like Star Wars, for example, that wasn't a horribly optimized game when it first came out. No reviewer talked about it. And if AI maybe would have helped, maybe some of the stuttering issues and stuff, maybe that could have been cool. But
Well, a
I
lot of
don't
the problem too with that game was the fact that they were using AI FSR and they made the game look like Vaseline was smeared on your fucking screen. So
So I hope that doesn't happen. But let's just say like with the new tech, you know, you get your specs and then devs take full advantage of it. I fully think that the next consoles should be able to do that, Mav. Like I think they should be able to take your quality mode, your performance, and combine it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the specs yet, but I'm assuming that's something should they should be aiming for.
Biggest technical leap ever,
so-
according to Cerebon. We'll see what that
Yeah,
actually
so-
means, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, it's like the other rumor that came out today was from Ecstasis, sorry. And he had this is via Xbox era he put out a video that claims Gears E-Day is aiming for a 2026 release, and that the long rumored Gears collection will be announced as a multi-platform release this June. So that led to some speculation. I don't know if he was speculating or if that he heard from somebody or what. But you know, he's gotten some things right before. There's been some other things that I don't think have come to fruition, but overall, that would be interesting. Get a Gears collection this year, Gears E-Day next year. But also, the same source said that with the slim possibility that they could move Gears E-Day up to 2025 is kind of the way that they put it, right? So it'd be interesting to see. Regardless, if we actually get a next gen Xbox next year and all those other games, Fable, Gears, possibly a Halo, whoever, possibly a Forza, like that'd be like the most ultimate Xbox fucking year ever, right? I'll check all the boxes, plus everything else. It would just be absolutely nuts. And one other thing I wanted to get to real quick before we get to tidbits is Bandai Namco is going to be open to licensing out their franchises.
What?
Yeah,
I haven't heard this.
I don't know if you guys saw this. This was I put it in the DMs earlier. I think I did. Yeah.
did you?
Yeah, ACG had made this post and I saw it. So
Oh yeah, there it is.
yeah, this is from timeextension.com.
Oh, okay, seems reliable.
The Bandai, well, there's an actual website for this. Okay, so besides that website, it says Bandai Namco is launching a new initiative to license out IP like Ridge Racer and Soul Calibur. 27 Bandai Namco IPs are currently listed on a newly launched webpage. Bandai Namco has announced a plan to strengthen its licensing business, sparking hopes that this may potentially lead to some existing new opportunities for some of its most beloved franchises. As part of this announcement, the famous video developer and publisher has launched a new webpage, which currently lists 27 of its IPs. This includes a bunch of popular IPs from across the company's history, from early access classics like Pac-Man through to modern hits like Elden Ring. It has also announced plans to establish a dedicated licensing division starting on April 1st in an effort to further improve its connection with fans and licensees moving forward. Some of the standout titles for us from those listed on the webpage include Ridge Racer, which hasn't received a new game since 2016 mobile title, Soul Calibur, a series that's been on hiatus since 2018, and Monolith Soft's Xenosaga, a spiritual successor to Square's Xenogears and a precursor to Nintendo's Xenoblade Chronicles. But in addition to those, Namco also lists the handheld console, the Wonder Swan, among the list of IPs it is looking to license out, as well as cult favorites like Katamari Damacy, Mr. Driller, and Klonoa. Obviously, it should be said that this doesn't necessarily mean that we're guaranteed to get new entries in each of these series or releases of the Wonder Swan anytime soon. But it should hopefully pave the way for fans, third-party developers, and merchandisers to approach the company with their own ideas for Namco-related products. Then they released a list of the games with a link to the website. So yeah, the website's in Japanese. It says, "Welcome to Bandai Namco's Entertainment's licensed business site. We have set forth our medium-term vision of connect with fans, and we will expand the possibilities of IP and develop businesses that create a chain of smiles together with fans around the world. We are looking for companies that can use the various IPs we handle for various businesses, such as commercialization, advertising use, and campaigns. Please use it to expand your company's services." Now, for me, this
Yeah.
means more so like T-shirts and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought was the fucking, like, I know Sega and Konami do it. They have those like gumball machines in Japan where you put like in 50 cents and you get like a toy Sonic thing or whatever the fuck. Like, I immediately thought of those, and it just seems like, or like a KFC deal. It's like, now fucking Soul Calibur fried chicken or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
People have been running with
You know
this
what?
as a possibility for
They-
other companies to be making their
I
product.
see it somewhere else where they said that there's IP that they're looking to license out for like possible games and stuff.
So yeah, that's what
I
I've
don't know.
seen, but like I don't know, like it's interesting to look at, and I'm kind of curious how to interpret it. For me, like just seeing the website itself, I don't get that from it. But I've seen a lot of
I'm
people,
looking on
including
the other side.
ACG, talk about like, hey, let's bring back this, let's bring back that. You know what I mean? Now I wonder if that could be a possibility within this. But when we look at what the actual website says, it says we are looking for companies that can use various IPs we handle for various businesses, such as commercialization,
Yeah.
advertising use, and campaigns. Please use it to expand your company's services. So for me, that doesn't scream like, hey, make it one of these fucking games. You know what I mean? But I've seen a lot of people run around with this today. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious what it means. But the interesting thing was like, this would be kind of now publishers have worked with third party developers all the time in the past. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily something crazy new. You know, they do partnership games and stuff like that
Yeah, I
all
mean,
the time.
Ubisoft's has done that a shit ton. Like, there's like Assassin's Creed skins and like PUBG and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, it could be
100%.
something similar to that.
Yeah.
But
They have
I'm
Palatra cards.
curious, so just like if that was a thing, if they actually started opening that up, like it would be pretty damn cool, you know. So I would actually advocate for publishers to do this because I think in house, so many publishers are starting to become so like overloaded. You know, like the gaming, like the big publishers hold all the classic great IPs, right? But they're so like they have so few games that they're capable of making at one time.
yeah, because
So,
games take 7 years now.
right. So I was
Yeah.
just like, say, hey, like it'd be cool to see these partnerships kind of expand beyond. You know, look at like Okami, right? And Clover Studio. That's a partnership thing where they're working with them to make that game.
Is that why we're getting such a weird Pac-Man game? Or this was they're making that game because that game was weird. It was like Pac-Man Castlevania.
Yeah, I
type
remember
game.
what you're talking about. Yeah, it like it seems like okay, like if this even isn't what it seems like to many out there, like the idea of this is interesting to say, hey, like, hey, other companies come license out our fucking games and to open companies up to approach them would be a cool concept. Like, so I advocate for that. I just want one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up.
No, yeah, that's cool.
Like if that was the only way we get a new fucking Soul Calibur, and let's say like Arc System Works wants to make it, it'd be like, okay, that'd be pretty fucking interesting. You know?
Yeah.
I'd be down to see that. You know?
I just like from like the little bit I know about Japanese culture and like all the ads I see, like I just see it as more of them like putting famous characters from video games in ads for random products that have nothing to do with each other.
Right. Yeah, like you see like fucking random Bandai Namco character like eat a Snickers, you know, like whatever.
I know they were weird about arcade cabinets for a while. Like it had to be like licensed to them, you know, for Pac-Man because I was trying to buy some, so I looked that stuff up. But cool.
Yeah, just wanted to bring that up because I found it interesting today. All right, well, everybody, this is gonna be the last segment of FSP Fun Speculation Podcast. Thank you all for being here, and we're gonna take a look at the games releasing for the week on our segment called This is Tidbits. We'll see what Fuzzy's got in store for us this week. I know that there's somebody that was looking forward to one game that wasn't there last week, but it's here this week, so.
Yeah. All right, so this first one is Age of Mythology. Wait, let me just make sure. Yeah, Age of Mythology Retold. Finally coming to PS5 for $49.99 this Tuesday. So
I didn't see a lot of people screaming and crying about this.
Nah. But hopefully this sparks an interest for RTSs on PlayStation.
100%.
See a trend.
Fantastic game. Now this hasn't been the top pre-ordered game on PlayStation like Forza has.
Did Age 2 already come out on PlayStation?
That's not too far behind.
So.
I think there's going to be like a season update or something for Age when it comes over. So I think that's either later this month or next month, if I'm not mistaken.
This is just making me want to play Age right now.
Wow. See ya.
Now this next one is Carmen Sandiego. I don't know how many people might remember back in the day. Where is Carmen Sandiego? But this one's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as Switch, PC, and mobile. So it's basically coming to everything except for Mac computers. But it's coming to iPhone, so I guess you can kind of play it there.
Don't be mad.
I want the band. You remember the doo-woppers that were at the beginning of the Carmen Sandiego show? Like if they were in this, I would 100%.
Yeah. It's priced at $29.99, so reasonable. This Tuesday, if you're a Where is Carmen Sandiego fan, this might be worth picking up.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I played the PC game a long time ago. It was like very old.
This looks like something that would come out on the PS2.
Yeah.
Not like it style.
Game loft, that makes sense.
Oh, that's right. It's even coming to Netflix gaming.
It's hard to name a thing in this
I don't know.
that'll last me a lifetime.
Right, this next one is Everhood, but it's only coming to Switch and PC this Tuesday. It's just a 20 spot, just $20 even. Looks like a good game to play on the Steam Deck or even on a Switch. So, looking for something different, this might be a game to pick up.
You guys hear Guitar Hero's coming back, but like the mobile version?
Yeah.
Makes
they
sense.
just released a couple of new guitars as well. Les Paul and a Gibson. Well, if I'd want to pay that much for a controller version of those, I could see if it transforms into a regular guitar, but
Oh my, is this a Zelda rhythm based game? Like,
I don't know. I like rhythm games, but this one looks a little trippy for me. Like, I mean, there was a girl with goo boobs up there on the rhythm track earlier.
yeah.
oh, it's modding support.
It almost has kind of like a Beat Saber and Guitar Hero blend kind of look to it.
Yeah, it means like Vampire Survivors or some shit. I don't fucking
I
know.
feel like Psycho would like this.
Yeah. Shout out to Psycho. We missed you, man. Where in the world is Psychonauts right now?
Check your mom's
I was in the
house.
store.
Literally what Psycho sees.
All right, this next one, I didn't count it last week because you'd have to buy the Premier Edition to get the early access, but 2 Point Museum coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC this Tuesday for $29.99. And for those that played like, was it 2 Point Campus and 2 Point Hospital? Yeah, this one's going to be another interesting one to give a shot.
What's the next 2 Point game we get after this one? 2 Point Amusement Park.
Yeah, that's how I was
Yeah.
about to say theme park.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's almost too close to like the roller coaster tycoon games and stuff.
2 Point Zoo.
That would be nice.
No, it's gonna be something like 2 Point, like Moon Base or some shit, and you can like build bases or like.
Let's do like 2 Point
Two
Crack.
places
2
on
Point
planets.
Crack House. 2 Point Crack House. Let's go.
Can't imagine. Be like, gotta get the crack going. The fiends are on the way.
2 Point Mall. That's a good one, Zach.
Yeah.
2 Point Mall. 2 Point Aquarium, Razor says.
Like Aquarium's just gonna be a DLC to that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this next one is probably one of the bigger ones on this list. Split Fiction coming to PS5, Series X and S, as well as PC this Thursday, $49.99.
Look, I don't.
Day one. I'll be there.
It looks fun. This one
We
doesn't
don't do small talk.
like
to meet
catch
you,
my
too.
attention as much as It Takes Two did.
I don't even think It Takes Two caught your attention until you played it.
Oh no, I was definitely excited for that.
How are we supposed to get out
Oh,
of
you
here
are?
if we don't start to trust each other? I don't need your trust. Well, I kind of need yours.
I think some of the mechanics of this one might be.
Yeah, this one.
I'll-
Yeah.
You can grow the or the dragon grows up and goes from something you carry on your back to something that you can fly on, type of deal, or even the robot suit and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I think
Cool
I'm
to see
just
how that pans out.
looking forward to, like, in It Takes Two, so they had some sections where you're just able to just like screw around and do some, like, if one mission where you're dragons, and that section's like really fun. Really cool. You like get different powers and abilities at each level, kind of mixes it up.
this will probably be in the Game of the Year nomination. So,
Probably.
Nice.
now, where's Chris Jones?
Yeah.
Squeak It In
Oh, is
1
this
and
shit
2
finally
HD
come out?
remaster. Yeah, Squeak It In 1 and 2 HD remasters coming out. The PS4, 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC this Thursday for $49.99.
代表する RPG タイトルとなっております。今作はそのシリーズの1作目と2作目が一つになったタイトルとなっております。昨年の発売延期告知から 長らくお待たせしま
It's
した。
like the PS5 to the PS5 Pro.
2025年3月6日
Excited for this one, man.
原作での温かい
I love these kind of games, man. I just
そ
like
のままに全ての
Don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
書き直し各種エフェクトを強化しました。
I wish I did.
作の
Like,
印象を損なわない
there's so much
よう
stuff I would
注意しながら
play.
環境音や足音などを追加しました
I mean, I would probably
UI は原作の
play
仕様を尊重しながらもより快適に遊べるようにしましたバトルでは倍速機能の実装やお任せ選択をワンボタンでできるようにするなど
There was a Star
原作で
Ocean
好
one
評だ
that
っ
came
た
out
サクサク
too,
バトル
right?
が
That
よ
was
り
like
遊びや
this.
すくなるようと追加
I'd
いた
probably
しま
play
した
that.
リマ
I'd
スターで
play
はそれぞれの原作の良さを変えずに新たな環境
the
で楽し
Dragon
んでいただけるように作成
Quest
しました
remix
たくさんの
as
方に
well.
幻想水湖伝の世界で遊んでいただけるよう
I'd play the Final Fantasy Pixel versions. I'd play so many of this. I like them. They're big games.
Yeah.
Big book.
Now, this next one we saw at one of the showcases, Fragpunk finally landing on PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday. Free to play, although you could do the $9 Founders Pack or bundle. But be prepared for this on Thursday.
It's my turn.
I didn't realize this was.
It won't do much better than Concord.
You know what? I think this will do a lot better than Concord, because even with the beta test, it was already had higher numbers. What was that, like a month or so ago?
I mean,
Or
it
maybe
doesn't
was a
have to
couple
hardly
months
do
ago.
shit to do better than Concord. Like, I mean, you could talk about, hey, we topped out at 10,000 players. You're like, wow, we did 10 times better than Concord. Well, actually,
Lasted
like
more
the
than 8
demo,
days.
like the actual game release didn't even have that much.
Yeah. Now these next couple are only on Switch. Well, I believe they're on Switch and PC as well as PS4 and PS5. They're only in Japanese, but the first one is Ever 17. The Out of Infinity for $29.99 coming this Thursday. Apparently, it's a remaster of a game from like 13 years ago.
An anime opening here.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite anime style.
The Afrin game is game of the year. Yeah, my Afrin ad, I guess. I thought they were sniffing tampons at first. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Like, I love anime, by the way, guys. There's certain styles that irk me, and I can't describe it.
If they were sitting in a coffee shop discussing relationships, would it be more up your alley for you?
Yeah, they should have started with that. Amy Kumar says this is a Jasper type game. Here you go.
I don't think you know the type of games I play then.
Now this trailer is a little bit on the long side, so we're going to skip ahead.
Go from tossing into
And this next one, also a much older game that's being remastered.
Yeah, I gotta add.
All right, we're going to move to the last game of the evening. This last one.
Here's you an anime stealther bit.
Your cozy farm shop.
This one is Sugar Dew Island, your cozy farm shop. Coming to PS5, Series X and S, Switch, and PC this Friday for $14.44. At least on the Nintendo eShop. I think it's normally supposed to go for $16.99.
See, now
So
we're
it's like
talking.
every other farming game that's ever existed. Got it.
I love farming games. This is a 3-bit game. See, Meet Kumar, there you go. You were right about this one. This is a 3-bit game. I love farming games. You have to do it right.
Yeah, but I feel like you can only play these like once every like 3 or 4 years, and then you play them, and you're like, okay, that's my farming games for the next 4 years, and then you never touch one again.
Enjoy a stress-free
Yeah, I guess some games
no in-game time.
sometimes they'll do it's like farming isn't the focus, but they'll have some farming things in there, and those are kind of cool too. But yeah, Amy Kumar, you called it. This is like my game.
If you wish.
Is there a
Oh, you can
Doomsday
date.
Prepper farming
See
game?
you soon at Sugar Dew
That's the game I
Island,
want.
your
A
cozy
Doomsday
farm
think
shop.
Prepper
so.
game where you have to have you have to raise chickens so you can have your own eggs, and grow your own, spices, whatever, store stuff in the bunker. Like that would be more up my alley, I think.
Yeah, like if they did Starfield, but with like farming mechanics, I would probably never leave.
I want to play like meth lab farming.
Yeah,
That's what I did in Starfield. Except
in
it was
Starfield, yeah.
Aurora.
Yep.
Like it's,
Wouldn't leave.
we have a big open space in the front. Everybody's passed out on the floor. That's your herd. You just collect them. You got to get stuff to attract them in.
Yeah, I forgot you were Breaking Bad in your playthrough of Starfield.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Jesse. Remember Breaking Bad? Like towards the end, like Jesse Pinkman's like place.
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm only on season 3. We just started watching that show.
Okay, never mind.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. You never watched it before?
Spoiler alert.
Well,
Oh,
whatever.
This is 15 years too late, Jasper. Sorry.
Wow,
Crack houses
wow.
and meth labs. I don't know. I'm just talking about new, interesting video game ideas, Razor. I mean, how many? Literally, we've seen that same fucking farming game 100 times on Tidbits. How many episodes have we had with Tidbits? Probably over 100. This is episode what?
134.
135.
It's like
134.
at least every other week. I swear to God, that same fucking game shows up. It has a different name every time. It has a different name every time. It shows up and it's like, oh, there's that game. And also the like the picture of the anime girls are all like, just, oh, look at my different emotions. I'm happy. Oh, I'm sad. I've seen that game 1,000 fucking times. Tidbits always has one of those fucking farming games, and it always has some like emotional anime thing.
And they're usually back to back for some reason.
Yeah, because it's like in the middle section. Fuzzy tries to start with something good and decent at the end, but this middle is packed with like just a bunch of random shit like this. Like, and I'm sure it's great. But we'll
Someone
see what
should make like a montage, because I'm pretty sure I'm consistent with my views on these farming games, unless there was one where I'm like, oh, that's trash. But
we'll see what it's called next week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're not wrong. There's definitely some farming games that
It'd be like Farm Again, the cozy replacement for the previous farming game.
Yeah,
this
one definitely have a lot of.
Oh, we can make radishes and onions, and we have pigs and cows. How unique! I've never seen that fucking before. Anyway, all right.
I'm gonna do my outro because I gotta get ready. But Lord Jasper Twitter, all that fun stuff, and then I have one more Friday here, so I think it's this Friday. Yeah, one more Friday, and then won't be on Fridays for a while. So that's me, and I gotta run. Bye.
Yeah, have fun at work, Jasper. Thanks, man.
Yep.
And thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you all being here. Fuzzy Belvedere, where can everybody find your rambles and rants?
Yeah, as always, this is always a fun night. Love talking about these upcoming games and just the gaming industry in general. Thanks everybody in the chat. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate the support. And you can find my rambles and rants on anything gaming related on pretty much all social media except for Facebook. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. Look forward to, if you want to see other places I'm at, look forward to Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday. Fright Night with Ferocious Fee at 6 with my wife talking about horror movies. And then Xbox Ultimate right here on the same channel at 9 Eastern on Friday evening. Definitely join us. Shop Podcast, 5 p.m. on Sunday with Pong and PTK Blam and myself. And then later that evening at 8 on Pixelated Echoes with 3-Bit. Hope to see you guys in the chat as well. Thanks again.
Right on, man. Appreciate you, Fuzz. And one and only 3-Bit. What about you, sir?
Yeah, great show, everybody. You guys can find me right here every single Monday, but also Pixelated Echoes, like Fuzzy said, every Sunday 8 p.m. Eastern time, where me and Fuzzy are just chopping it. Planning on having some cool guests over that next Sunday, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So it's gonna be a good show. But no, always appreciate being on here. And you guys can find me on Blue Sky at i3bits. I posted. I'm such a random poster sometimes because I don't always know what I can post from my jobs. So I did post like a fun little thing. I randomly showed it to Mav the other day with like the two black editors, little skit thing I did. Check that out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Mav, get us out of here. Where can people find your stuff that they're already watching on?
Oh, hey, right here, right now. Or
Yeah.
if you want to watch our other shows, Thursday we got PM in the PM with Pong Soul and I. Looking forward to that this week. And Friday night Xbox Ultimate at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we should have some fun there, and maybe some streams and randomness going on as well. But I appreciate everybody here hanging out, and who watches all of you who watch any of our content. Any of the support is always appreciated, never expected. Audio listeners, shout out to you as well, and thank you all for listening. And I hope everyone has a fantastic night. Go hang out, play one of the million random farming simulators out there, cozy farm games, and you'll have a blast. And if you don't find the one that is for you, next week we might show it to you on Tidbits. Peace out. Bye.
Yeah.